All right, all right. What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Thank you for being here on a Saturday evening. Lakers over the Golden State Warriors 105-99. I haven't been jabbing in a while. It's been a while. I got a rotator cuff injury. It's been a second. It's been a second. I got to kind of get back into it. I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Lakers over the Warriors 105-99. Lakers win again, finding ways to win. And I think there's a lot of great storylines from tonight's game. Granted, this is a game that they should win. Of course, the Golden State Warriors missing Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler out for the season. Porzingis, part of that trade, not obviously here yet. Jonathan coming out as well. Lakers missing Luka Doncic, 8 in a late scratch. So unfortunately, honestly, for both teams, probably for ESPN as well, they're like, what the hell happened to all these players? They thought this was going to be a big game. That wasn't exactly the case. Doesn't matter if you're the Lakers. It doesn't matter if you're a Laker fan. You're trying to just get as many wins as you can right now in a very, very crowded Western Conference. And it's been a really nice stretch for the Lakers. Here's what we're going to do in the postgame show. I'm going to probably spend a good amount of time. This is going to be one of the few postgame shows where I could genuinely talk about so many different players that contributed in different ways tonight. I really like listening to, was just listening. I think I've told you guys this in the past. I like to listen to JJ Redick talk. Before JJ goes, you obviously have tonight on Spectrum, you got Geeter talking, you got Mike Bresnahan and James Worthy, and they're talking about the contributions off the Lakers bench, what Vando's been able to do. Maxi Kleba, 2 games in a row, finding ways to contribute to the Lakers. Rui, unbelievable from a just an efficiency perspective. Luke Kennard making his Laker debut, and he looked great. So we got a lot of things that we're going to be able to hit on tonight, and it's not even about the stars or anything like that. Again, both teams are missing a lot of their key players, but at the end of the day for the Lakers, they're now 13 games over 500, which is the highest mark for the Lakers this season. That's impressive. It really, really is. You had that road trip. You went 5-3. Then you followed it up with 2 home games. You got 3 games left to go before the All-Star break. A couple of these games, obviously, monster games, sort of, not really, just depending on we'll see who Oklahoma City Thunder have, who they play on Monday. But obviously a lot to still look forward to before we get to the All-Star break. It's going to be impressive. It's the first time you've been on the channel. Thank you for being here. If you're here all the time and you've yet to subscribe, please subscribe to the channel. Would greatly appreciate that. Obviously, those know who are here covering the Lakers. At my 10th year covering the Lakers, 10th year covering the Los Angeles Lakers, and love obviously talking about Lakers basketball specifically right here on YouTube. Okay, let's kind of get into this. I know we got a lot of comments out there as well, so we'll spend a lot of time looking at everybody's comments. But let's just kind of let me give my overall thoughts, kind of typically the style of how I do the post game show. Talk about individual players, and then I'll start looking at some of the comments. Something that the Lakers, I'm going to see what the theme is here. Maybe I'm going to overreact a little bit, but let me just look here. I feel like the Lakers defensively have been a lot better over these last couple of games. Now, they had the game to have a team like the Golden State Warriors. I get it. They don't have all their firepower, but that freaking team fires away. They couldn't hit a 3, but they launch a ton of threes. They gave up 99 points to the Golden State Warriors. The Sixers, I know they gave up 115. It didn't feel like they gave up 115, but they got stops in that second half when they needed to. That was the difference of the game. Brooklyn, that thing was a blowout. Nobody really pays any attention to that. Last few games for the Lakers, I feel like their defense has really showed up. Their defense has a lot to do with how the Lakers played. Golden State shot 42% from the field and just 27% from the three-point line. So if I'm just basically talking about this strictly of looking at this Lakers game, you're not going to lose many games where you give up under 100 points in today's NBA. So whether that was all the Lakers or that was the Golden State Warriors missing shots or everything changes because Steph Curry's not there, to be honest with you, I don't really care. I just care about, well, what's the end result and how did it look? There's some moments, Lakers took some leads where they go up 12, and then all of a sudden you look up, it's like, man, it's a 3-point game, 2-point game, 4-point game. Lakers would build it back up 8 or 9, and the next thing Draymond hits a corner three, it's down to 3 again. So the game was a little bit back and forth, but for the most part, you felt like in that second half, Lakers kind of came out and blitzed the Golden State Warriors to start that second half. Really nice third quarter for the Lakers, which was really the difference of the game. Pace went up. LeBron kind of got going in that first couple of minutes. They put up 38 points in that third quarter. That's your game. There's a 9-point difference in that third quarter. Lakers end up winning this game by 6. So clearly for the Lakers, and that's with a late 3 that really meant nothing. It should have been probably a 9-point victory. That's your third quarter right now. You're edged by 9 in that third quarter. I just thought overall for the Lakers, and listen, here's the one thing. It's kind of funny. I was thinking about this while the game was going on, that here is a team like the Philadelphia 76ers, the last game that the Lakers play. They play Philly. And I said this, and probably a little cold-blooded on it, but I meant it. Philly's got talent, but I don't feel like they play together, and I didn't feel like it was high IQ basketball. The Warriors are completely opposite. They don't really have that much talent. There's not that much talent on this team, especially when you're missing some key guys like Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, and they trade away Jonathan Kuminga. They have Porzingis now. He hasn't played yet. They don't have that much talent, but they're very high IQ players. So I think it's easy to watch the Warriors and say, well, they don't have their guys, so they suck. That's not the case. The ball moves. They continue to cut. They continue to find ways to get guys the ball. They're smart on the defensive side. Every player works hard. This kind of, as the game was progressing, I'm like, even with Golden State not having the Klay Thompsons and the Andre Iguodala's and the Steph Currys and the Sean Livingstons, all these ties, all Kevin Durant, all these great players that have gone through the Golden State Warriors over the years, they still kind of run a similar system. They just don't have talent. They just don't have enough guys that they can depend on, or guys that can go get them buckets, or real true threats. But they're very, very smart. They're high IQ players. They're well coached. That's kind of been the Warriors' foundation. So I still think when the dust settles in this game, nobody's going to remember this game. Nobody's going to remember a game on Saturday, February 7th, because obviously it's the Warriors and a lot of the stars weren't playing. So ESPN's like, we got what game? I had a cousin of mine that called me today, and he's like, hey, man, I'm going up to the game. Are you going to be there? I'm like, no, I'm not going to be there. I'm like, do you know who's playing? He's like, yeah. I know Luka's not playing. I'm like, neither is Steph. He's like, shit. My point is that even without the stars there, the first half was not exciting to watch. Second half, I felt like there was a little bit more of a flow to the game. And, obviously Lakers were able to pull away to start the third quarter, end of the third quarter, a little bit of a cushion. Golden State made it close, but every time they made it close, guys stepped up and they were clutch. Let's get into some of the individual players here. Let's talk Luke Kennard here for a quick second. I know I could jump to a lot of different players. 6 guys in double figures for the Lakers. 6 players in double figures for the Lakers. It's a phenomenal stat. Spectrum had some stats. I don't have it up right now. They had some stats of what the Lakers bench scoring has been over these last 3 games. It's obviously no surprise. Austin Reeves coming off the bench, and he's one of their best players on their team. So, of course, all the numbers are going to come up from a bench perspective. But let me talk about a player making his debut for the Lakers and Luke Kennard. Let me ask everybody here who's hanging out on the post-game show, chilling and watching the game, and or watch the game and now watching the post-game show. How good was Luke Kennard tonight? Did it not seem like this guy looked so incredibly comfortable with the Lakers? I mean, I know it's not fair to say this. I watched Gabe Vincent for 3 years or 2.5 years with the Lakers, and I was waiting for him even up into the trade deadline. I'm like, when's this guy going to get comfortable with the Lakers? Luke Kennard walked in his first game as a Laker, played 26 minutes, 4 of 7 from the field, hit a couple of threes, couple assists, a steal, a rebound, and had 10 points for the Lakers, shot over 50%, and looked like he's been a Laker this entire season. They're running plays for him out of timeouts. He just kind of knows where to go rotation wise. I think there's probably a misconception on Luke Kennard, and that's okay. I mean, I think this is the reality of it. It's actually something Spectrum said. We don't watch Luke Kennard every night. So I just kind of have it in my mind that, yeah, Luke Kennard's going to be a spot-up shooter. He's going to hit shots in the corner. I didn't know Luke Kennard can kind of create a little bit. I know Luke Kennard's going to have a lot of attention on him because his percentage from the three-point line is unbelievable. They're showing stats of these all-time greats. Luke Kennard, from a percentage standpoint, I know it's not high volume. I know he's not a guy that's going to take 15 shots a game. Luke Kennard looked great for the Lakers. I mean, phenomenal for the Lakers. And if I'm being honest with everybody, why would that change? He's going to get open looks. There's going to be a lot of attention on Austin Reeves, a lot of attention on LeBron, a lot of attention, of course, on Luka Doncic. But what I liked about Luke Kennard's game today, and this is something that JJ Redick talked about, he talked about this after the Lakers beat the Sixers, and then he was able to talk about the trade in the postgame show. He's like, he's just a basketball player. He's a guy that can pump fake you because you're so worried about his three-point shooting. He could drive, kind of get to the basket. All right, guys are going to start collapsing on him. He's got the ability to see, okay, what does it look like? Who's open? I'll make the right pass and go from there. Luke Kennard was phenomenal tonight. I'm not telling you that Luke Kennard is going to be perfect for the Lakers. I'm not telling you that he's not going to be a liability at times on the defensive side. I'm not telling you that Luke Kennard is going to get the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals. But what I'm going to tell you is Luke Kennard looks like he will be wildly more of an asset than Gabe Vincent. He played 26 minutes tonight, and in 26 minutes, I'm like, isn't that what Gabe was supposed to be doing for 2.5 years? Isn't that what you kind of thought and hoped Dalton Knecht can be for the Lakers? Get some good playing time when he needs to, put the ball on the floor, create every once in a while for others because there's so much attention on him and guys are worried about him shooting threes. Luke Kennard was phenomenal tonight. You can't get any smaller of a sample size, but all I have is to judge him off one game, and he was just traded to the Lakers on Thursday morning, and this is our first chance getting to see Luke Kennard in a Laker uniform. He was great. Just very simply put, Luke Kennard, very comfortable, certainly will have a role with the Lakers. I love that he's been in the league now for, a number of years. So there's nothing he hasn't seen. He's going to get opportunities for the Lakers. I loved watching that from Luke Kennard, and I really thought his contributions were kind of a breath of fresh air. You really do. I mean, how about the first bucket that he got? First shot he got was just as pure as it gets. In rhythm, defender on him, 23-footer, 24-footer, nothing but nylon. Timeout Golden State Warriors, and Luke Kennard goes back to the bench. Everyone's like, all right, yeah, we got ourselves a shooter. So really, really nice performance from Luke Kennard. There's a lot of other players I want to get into. 6 guys scoring double figures, so I want to do all that. But I'll do something a little bit different here. I want to see some of the comments in regards to Luke Kennard because, like I said, a player that the type of player that the Lakers need. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to overreact to it, but what I am trying to say, does it not look like Luke Kennard can be an asset for the Lakers? That's all. They gave up Gabe Vincent in a second rounder. There were people on the chat that were offering to fly or to drive Gabe Vincent to the airport. I said, I will personally drive him across the country to Atlanta. I was trying to do my part. I understand that Luke Kennard's he's not going to change everything for the Lakers, and then all of a sudden they're the team to beat in the Western Conference. But what I can comfortably say is that's an upgrade. That's a player they need. And hopefully it's going to be a player that that they can depend on. All right, let's see here. Let's see a couple of comments here, and I'll get a good idea. Just because it's Kennard's debut and everything else, I definitely want to spend a little bit of time on. Getting Kennard might be overlooked because all the big names, but guy is 50, 40, 90. Here's the thing with Luke Kennard too. Something to just keep in mind as we talk about him. He's never going to be a high-volume shooter. He's never going to be taking a lot of shots. The amount of shots he took today, which is about 7, I think he was 4 or 7. I don't think you're going to see too many games where he's taken more than 10 shots. It's not like he's going to go out there and give you 18 a night or something like that. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But he's such a pure shooter. He's a threat where defenses are like, I can't really lean off of Luka here. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't lean off of Luke Kennard to help because Luka's got the ball in the on the top of the key, and Luka's looking to do whatever he does. Same thing with Austin Reeves. Same thing with some of these other players. I'm still trying to figure out why we signed Gabe Vincent to a 3-year contract. I'll tell you why. He came off an NBA Finals run with the Miami Heat, and he was great in that Finals run. Not just the actual NBA Finals, that playoff run to get to the NBA Finals. That's why they signed him. Had that kind of that Miami blood in him in the sense that, what do they call it? Heat culture. There's a certain type of style that they play. They're definitely roll up their sleeves, come to work. That's why they signed him. I wasn't mad at the signing for Gabe Vincent. I just didn't see Gabe Vincent do anything since he became a Laker. Kennard switched his hips good on defenses. What are we, salsa dancing here? How about people's hips? Clean this up here. I got kids watching this thing. Kennard is getting extended. Kennard is second to only Steve Kerr in three-point percentage all time. I saw that. When I saw that stat there, they showed it during the ESPN broadcast. I'm like, what? Again, he's not a high-volume shooter, but he's a shooter. Luke Kennard makes defenses honest. People talking about hips in here. All right, let's get a couple more in here. All right, okay, so you let Gabe Vincent go. I know we suffered for 3 years. You're right about that. I probably gotta leave him alone. But there's going to be times where, there's nothing I could do for you. He's just going to come into my head. I'm going to have to bring him up. Kennard made 2 threes in 26 minutes. I'm not trying to tell you here the Lakers just got Ray Allen or Reggie Miller, but they got a player they need. That's it. It's just it's somebody that 100% is the type of player that they need. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, let me get a couple more in here. Kennard plays with some confidence. No question about that. Slee, let's not jinx AKA DK for the next 10 games. Okay. All right. All right, good stuff from Luke Kennard. Definitely some good stuff from Luke Kennard. I got a lot of other players I want to talk about. So let's do that. Here's somebody that's going under the radar. I don't think going under the radar. No, maybe he's not going under the radar, but I'm going to give him some love because I think he went through a stretch where I think, was it 9 out of 10 games he got some DNPs? I know there was 7 games in a row that he didn't play, and the Lakers were just so awful on defense. It's like, well, why don't you just try him? Vando tonight, and it's not just about tonight. I feel like Vando has had just a really nice stretch of games for the Lakers. And in some of these games where maybe the energy is not there, maybe the Lakers just aren't doing anything on the defensive side, when Vando comes in and there's that kind of Vando-Marcus Smart combination, it's like two bullies just walked in the park and just say, yeah, let's go to work. And every other player there is like, all right, well, now we got to start paying attention. We got to make sure that we try harder. That's kind of what Vando is for the Lakers. Vando tonight, in just 19 minutes of play, 13 points. Might I say that he had a better three-point percentage tonight than Luke Kennard? Can I say that? Can we say on Saturday, February 7th, Vando outshot Luke Kennard? Luke Kennard was 4 of 7 from the field. Vando was 4 of 6. Luke Kennard was 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Vando was 2 of 3. Vando's a shooter. All right, but in all honesty, and listen, he had a good night offensively. Obviously, that's not something that you expect. But 13 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, a block shot. And like I mentioned, he just kind of adds an element to the game. He muddies the water, which is something that the Lakers need. He knows his role. He's not going to try to do anything outside of his role. But I really think he's had kind of a handful of games here where he changes the feel of a game. He changes the outlook of a game. if you're trying to play a certain style, finesse, this, whatever, pace, all that stuff, Vando comes in. It's like, all right, well, this is going to get ugly. And I think that benefits the Lakers. Shout out to Vando. Vando deserves a lot of credit. I think over this last handful of games, I don't think too many Laker fans have something negative to say about Jared Vanderbilt. All right, here's another player that continues to kind of find ways to contribute for the Lakers. How about Maxi Kleber? Played another 28 minutes, 7 rebounds, a plus 12. Remember, these last couple of games, I get it. I know plus minus isn't everything. He had a plus 23, 26. What do you have in the last game against Philly and closed out the game? Remember, Lakers only had one center. Technically, Ayton was in. Jackson Hayes was suspended. This game, Ayton was out. Jackson Hayes started. Maxi Kleber is the one that ended up playing 28 minutes. Did he play? He played a lot more minutes than Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes played 20 minutes, and Maxi Kleber played 28. Just think about the names that I'm mentioning here. I'm not talking about your, Luka. I'm not saying LeBron had an unbelievable. I'm not saying Austin Reeves. I'm talking the 4 players that I started this postgame show with. I've mentioned Luke Kennard. I've mentioned Jared Vanderbilt, or the 3 players. Jared Vanderbilt. I've mentioned Maxi Kleber. These are random names for the Lakers. Random in the sense that you're not thinking these guys or Luke Kennard just coming over are going to have that much of an impact to help influence this game. All those guys helped influence this game. This is something that has always concerned me with the Lakers. Their depth, their lack of bench production, of course, their defense. Teams that have success, they can't just depend on 2 or 3 guys. You just can't. That's just not going to happen. You need some balance. You need guys to take some of the pressure off the stars. You need random guys to step up on a night in, night out basis. It doesn't have to be the same guy every night, but different guys to step up so that defenses or other teams are just, they're not sure where you're going to hit them from. 6 guys in double figures today. Kleber, like I mentioned, phenomenal. Doesn't have the double-figure numbers, but definitely had the impact. Vando had double-figure numbers. Rui Hachimura, 7 of 10 from the field, hit 4 threes, hit 2 buckets that I thought swung the game. I think it was down to maybe 5, and the Golden State Warriors miss on 1 possession. It comes back the other way. I think they even had a fast break, 4-on-3, 3-on-2, whatever it was. They miss on one end of the floor. Rui hits a big 3. Then Rui hits another shot. I think his foot was on the line, got another 2. Rui has a tendency, and this is something that I do like about his game, kind of has got no problem taking those big shots. He's got, by the way, he hits, again, this happened today. I'm like, every time this guy takes a shot, for the most part, listen, he's going to get some threes, obviously, where no one's in his face. He's going to get some buckets where there's nobody around him. Good ball movement. The ball gets tipped in, whatever the case is. Rui also hits shots with guys right in his face. It's almost, I don't know if he prefers it or he does. I don't know, but it doesn't seem to bother him when he hits some of those shots. So Rui in double figures. Marcus Smart, 15 points for the Lakers. I was talking about him with Vando, the way he plays. I know Marcus Smart is a little bit all over the place, sometimes great, sometimes not. But I will tell you, Marcus Smart's always going to play tough. He's going to play hard. Couple of blocked shots today, 4 assists. Got to the free throw line, got kind of some gimmies. Again, you had a number of different players that contributed for the Lakers. It was really, really nice to see all these different guys come through for the Lake Show. Okay, I'll talk about Austin Reeves we can get into. I'll hit on LeBron as well. We'll still take a look at the NBA standings. The Lakers kind of continuing to move up. So there is a lot. I'm going to star this one. This is a good comment here. What do you do with Reeves? Maybe off the bench. I like that. We still got a lot of other things that we're going to get into, so we're going to do that. Before I do, let's give some love to one of our partners. Let's start out with Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Shout out to Brad Wallace. Shout out to the Wallace Firm. Shout out to his partnership on the channel. You are a family member, a friend, run into a situation, and you need an injury attorney. I hope you never do. He can help anybody in the state of California. The URL we created, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. big Laker fan, big supporter of the channel, somebody that would be more than happy to help any of our listeners. Just go to that website. You get an absolutely free consultation. If you fill it out, someone from the Walls firm will reach out. And I've told you guys this before, and I love it because I've had some people hit me on Instagram. I've had some people hit them up directly and go through that consultation or go through the form for a consultation. Whatever it is that you're not 100% sure. Can he help me? Can he not help me? Let's just see if we can help. I'll put you in touch with him. Happy if you send me an email to connect you directly to the owner. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa is the website. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments here. What do we have here? What do we have here from our people? What do we have? Got a couple starred here. I'm going to give some love to a couple people here. This seems to happen more times than not. People will gift out some MVP memberships. So I probably average once a week. I do a member show, and it's a great way to support the channel. If you'd like to support the channel, it's $3 a month. There's a button either whether you're on your phone or on your desktop, whatever the case is, you're using your laptop. There's a join button there. If you want to support the channel, it's another way to do it. I'll do exclusive content just for members. What was it? Yesterday, I did a show. Yesterday, I did something a little bit different. We went and got a cup of coffee yesterday. I went to a coffee shop, kind of sat down. I was in my office, I just took the members with me. I'm like, let's just go walk around and live stream here a little bit. It was fun to do so. Again, if you'd like to, I got a couple people gifting out memberships. Laker Queen, thank you very much for gifting out 5 memberships. Awesome. Very, very nice of you as well. So I appreciate everybody gifting out those memberships. It's an interesting one here. Keep AR off the bench to solve our bench problems. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think they're going to do, and then let's actually talk about that idea and that concept. I think he's going to be in the starting lineup. I think he'll be there, obviously, with LeBron, with Luka, with Ayton. I think there's probably a question. What do they do? Is Rui going back to the starting lineup? Are they going to keep Jake LaRavia there? I'm not 100% sure there. I got kind of indications where maybe they're going to keep Jake LaRavia there. And it sounded like Rui was buying into that and saying, that's fine. I don't care. Just play me starter minutes, and that's all that matters. I think they're going to bring AR back in the starting lineup once he's off the minutes restriction. I think the concept of him coming off the bench is not a terrible idea. It's not. If he's still going to play 30 minutes a night and he's still going to close out games, which I think he's going to do both, does it matter whether he's starting or coming off the bench? I will tell you this, when he comes off the bench, the way we're looking at it right now, it's like he's going to feast. He had 35 points in 25 minutes against the Philadelphia 76ers. There's going to be times, and part of the question is, there's certain guys that, it's not like they can't play together, but I do think AR is one of those guys. He's the best version of himself when he's got the ball in his hands. So is Luka. Frankly, a lot of times, not at this stage of his career, you could say the same thing for LeBron. LeBron was, quarterback for 21 years. 22 years. This is, since Luka came here, is kind of the first time that he's off the ball. But the best version of himself is when he used to have the ball. It's different for LeBron now just because of his age and everything else. But the best version of Austin Reeves, I get it. It's when he's got the ball. When he's able to just kind of cook, create, do what he does, draw fouls, take shots. That's the best version of himself. Well, the ball's going to be in Luka's hands. It's an interesting question to ask. It's not a bad topic idea for Monday. How about that? How about I just steal topics from these people? I just steal topics from our listeners. But I do think he's going to eventually get back into the starting lineup. It's kind of what my gut tells me. Lakers now top 10 defensively in their last 11 games. I did see that. And listen, there's a correlation there. You win games when you play defense. We've had this conversation how many different times? You know what I hate in sports is when owners or coaches are like, we're just going to outscore them. We're going to put up 35 a game in the NFL. Go see how that's going to do for you. Go see how not having a defense or not having a running game or not. Imagine in baseball, teams are like, you know what? Forget pitching and screw the bullpen. We're just going to try to put up 6 runs a game. Yeah, see how far that's going to get you in the postseason. In the NBA, it's no different. If you think you're going to drop 125 a game, you're going to lose a lot of games. It's not a smart strategy. So, Seiko, I think it's a good observation. It's a good point. Lakers are starting to win games, and some of that has to do with the fact is, hey, what do you know? They're playing some defense. They're playing a little bit of defense. And you know what's kind of disappointing in the position that the Lakers were in for a long time. Part of that, what's disappointing, it's like, yeah, well, everybody knows that. And the Lakers were trying to address some of those defensive issues, but I get it. They got players that are so brilliant on offense. They're naturally focused more on the offensive end. You don't get stops, you don't go anywhere. You don't get stops, you don't go anywhere. Shout out again to those who gifted out the memberships. I really appreciate you guys doing that. So thank you very much for doing that. All right, let's see what we have here. Comments are flowing in right now. Check this out. Can you give me a second? Can I check the standings in a second? I mean, who's running this thing? Can I run the show here? I'll come back to it. Don't worry. I appreciate the reminder here. LeBron will tighten up his game come playoffs. Let's talk LeBron here for a second. Show the standings. Okay, I'm not done. I'm not ready for the standings. It's like I'm eating the appetizer here, and then they're already bringing out the dinner. Give me a second on the entree. Or maybe it's dessert. I'm in the middle of the entree. Don't give me a dessert menu right now. All right, LeBron, here's the one thing that I think it's safe to say. Man, so many bad passes, so many bad turnovers for LeBron. LeBron actually didn't have that great of a night tonight. 20 points, 6 of 17 from the field, 2 of 7 from the three-point line, gets assists, gets rebounds. This is one thing LeBron's been able to do his entire career. 10 assists, 7 rebounds. You know, he's got 15 turnovers in the last 2 games. If I'm right on that, I think he had 8 in the last game. Let me look at Bron real quick. Let's take a look at his last couple of games. Oh my gosh, 15 turnovers in the last 2 games. Maybe that has to do with, well, I think I got an idea what it has to do with. Luka's not in the game. So now all of a sudden LeBron's got the ball, probably a lot more than he wants the ball at this stage of his career. Probably a lot more than the Lakers want him to have the ball at this stage of his career. You know, he went from quarterbacking, and it's all of a sudden he doesn't have to quarterback anymore. And then it's like, all right, well, we need you to go back in there and start quarterback, and Austin Reeves isn't starting. There's a lot of times where LeBron's got the ball in his hands, and it ain't the same LeBron, right? And it's not supposed to be. He's not supposed to be the quarterback at this stage. He's supposed to be playing with Luka, supposed to be playing with Austin Reeves. And the idea is he's got the ball much less in his hands, and he has to create a lot less. But 15 turnovers in 2 games, that's awful. And some of these passes, I'm like, where are you going with these? Just jumping in the air and trying to make a decision right at the end. You can't do that, obviously. So that's the piece on LeBron. I mean, we don't have to get too much into his game tonight, but it was nothing special. If I stay with this and I just stay with the other star of the Lakers and Austin Reeves, Reeves tonight ended up with 16 points, just 5 of 10 from the field. So look how much he was taking off and firing away. He had a lot of turnovers too. By the way, this is the one thing that I will say. They had, I want to say, 22 turnovers in the last game, 22 turnovers this game. You play really good teams in the NBA, you're probably getting your ass kicked if you had 22 turnovers. I mean, they're lucky. Philly is a very mid team in the Eastern Conference. They got really good individual talent. I just don't like how they play together. And the Golden State Warriors obviously missing a lot of guys. You get 22 turnovers against OKC or San Antonio, you're losing by 20 points. Just can't do that. Reeves had 5 turnovers. LeBron had 7 turnovers. Reeves only took 10 shots, like I mentioned, got to the free throw line. Love the 8 assists and the 5 rebounds from Austin Reeves as well. A couple of steals, a block shot. So he's slowly but surely kind of getting back to being the player that he needs to be for the Lakers. Not the player he needs to be, just looking healthy again. So we'll have to wait and see until probably give them until um not just what am I putting here? Probably until after the All-Star break, you're probably going to start getting the best version of Austin Reeves. Let me see what else we have here. Let me get some more here. Laravia made a lot of bad passes tonight. How many turnovers he have? Yeah, Laravia kind of a no-show for the Lakers tonight. But if I'm being honest, um, he's already kind of surpassed my expectations. If I'm being real with you, Jake Laravia, 2 points, 1 of 5 from the field, 4 rebounds and 4 turnovers. A couple of block shots for him as well. He's kind of surpassed my expectations. I didn't think he would be this much of a asset for the Lakers this year. So I probably have more leniency on him because I mean, if we're depending a lot on Jake Laravia, and I think he's done a good job this season. I think he plays hard. I think he plays good defense, but I don't think I'm not depending a ton on him. If Kleba keeps playing like this, he might be more valuable than Ayton, in my opinion. Damn, that's the levels DeAndre Ayton's gone to. Lakers are not as good as their record suggests. Okay, let's do this. Let's do a little NBA standings right now. Where was the comment earlier? Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready now for the dessert menu. I'm ready. I'm going to get a little coffee. I'm going to get a little bit of dessert. The food's settled. I'm ready to go into the standings. All right, let me do a couple things here because the West is really, really worth talking about right now. The West has been a little bit all over the place. Some of it is injuries. Some of it is just teams playing poor basketball. There are a lot of things that I think factor in. And so far, these last couple of weeks have been a lot more interesting in the NBA because the Lakers have not only played better, but the rest of the Western Conference has been like, been nothing special at all. All right, let me do a couple things here, and then we're going to look at the standings here in just a second. Here's where we're sitting at. Lakers 32-19. I think they've won 8 of 11. 3 in a row, 7 of their last 10. San Antonio balling. They've won 4 in a row. They're 36-16. Lakers got them coming up on Tuesday. Denver 5-5 in their last 10. Houston's been really bad, 6-4 in their last 10, but they've lost a handful of games. Minnesota, I know there was a point they had lost 4 in a row, maybe won a game, now lost another one. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Phoenix Suns, they're 5-5 in their last 10. Listen, there's some stories here, right? Devin Booker's been out for the Suns. Denver's had a ton of injuries. Oklahoma City right now is missing a ton of key players. I know Shai Gilgeous is out. I think Jalen Williams is out as well. I'll look at their, we'll take a look at them as we get ready to preview Monday's game. But here's where the Lakers are. They're in the number 5 spot. They are 1 game, same amount of same amount of losses as the Denver Nuggets. Both teams at 19 losses. 1 game behind the number 3 spot. And they're trending in the right direction. That's the good news with the Lakers. It's like these final 3 games that they have before they get to the All-Star break. If they can go 2-1, you're 14 games over 500 at the All-Star break. That's a damn good record. By the time you come back from the All-Star break, you'll be healthy, you'll be set, you'll be ready to go, hopefully get some good continuity between the stars. Hopefully a lot of these role players feel a little bit more confident about themselves. Trade deadlines out of the way, all that stuff. And listen, I'm not telling you that the Lakers are not going to have their own problems and issues, and they still got to we still got to see them when everybody's healthy against other good teams, but it's not a bad position. And I don't think you're completely wrong here when you say, that comment that we saw that said the Lakers are not as good as their record. You might be right there. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're still not in that conversation. I went on yesterday. You guys know I'm doing a little bit of work here with AM 570. I went on with Petros and Money yesterday, and they said, who of the teams after the top 2 are the biggest threat to the San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder? Is it the Lakers? Is it the Timberwolves? Is it the Suns? Is it the Rockets? Is it the Nuggets? I still think it's Denver. They got to be healthy. They've been up and down, no question about it, but I still think it's Denver. The point that I'm trying to make is maybe they're not as good as their record is, but they're still 13 games over 500. They still got a chance to get into the All-Star break healthy. Maybe Luka doesn't play between now and the break. To be honest with you, I got no problem if that's the case. Give a little bit more of a load to guys like Austin Reeves and some of these other players. But you got a winnable game against the Thunder because they got a lot of players out. And then you got a winnable game against the Dallas Mavericks. And San Antonio obviously is going to be a very tough game, but a good test for the Lakers. I don't think the position for the Lakers is bad at all right now. I really don't. I don't think the positioning right now for the Lakers is bad at all. Okay, speaking of which, let's take a look at the next game that the Lakers play. Monday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm going to look at something here with you guys as well because I want to see what are all their injuries right now. They've lost a couple games in a row, but of course, they've got a ton of injuries, so let's take a look. Game on Monday on Peacock, I think it said. Jalen Williams' hamstring has been ruled out of Saturday's game against the Rockets. Maybe he's ready to go on Monday against the Lakers. A.J. Mitchell, another player, was ruled out, so we'll see if he's available for the game coming up on Monday. By the way, both of those guys play, and Luka doesn't play. That's a tough game. If just Jalen Williams plays, that's a really tough game, but it just shows you some of their injuries. We obviously know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's got that ab injury, abdominal strain, something along those lines, and he's going to get reevaluated after the All-Star break. So just keep an eye out. Jalen Williams and A.J. Mitchell, they playing or are they not? If they're not going, then Lakers should definitely win that game. If they're both playing, that's a tough game. Very, very tough game and a fun game too. You want to watch that, but we know this, they're not going to have their MVP. They're not going to have the reigning MVP. So we'll see what happens, but that's the next game coming up for Lakers against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I love it. I mean, this is what I want to see. I wish both teams were healthy. I mean, look, let's put it this way. If Jalen Williams and A.J. Mitchell play and Shai Gilgeous obviously doesn't, all right, you got the best player on one team not playing, and then you got the best team, the best player on the other team in Luka that's not playing as well. Let's roll the ball out there and see what the Lakers do. I want these matchups. I mean, the Spurs game, second of a back-to-back on Tuesday, that's going to be a tough game. Let's see what the Lakers look like. This is all good. Even if they take L's in these games, it at least gives you an idea what's it look like against some of the better teams in the NBA. How do the Lakers perform? What is it's data that I think is good for the Lake Show. Let's put it that way. I definitely think that's good data for the Lakers. All right. Shout out to Harris Resort SoCal. I had a listener yesterday saying, Al, been listening to the show. I'm taking we're going out to Harris Resort. I'm like, perfect. You listened. You took some of my advice. If you're looking for a staycation and you're looking for a place within 1 to 2 hours, kind of a very convenient thing to do. It's smart. It's beautiful. It's economic. It makes sense from an economics perspective. You don't have to go get go buy a couple round trip airfare tickets, park your car at the airport. I mean, just think about the headache that comes with traveling. Why do any of that when you could just take a staycation, get in your car, drive down to Harris Resort SoCal, located in North San Diego in the Palomar Mountains. It's a beautiful resort, and certainly you'll get a great opportunity to enjoy a weekend or a couple weekdays, however you do it. Swim up bar, Lazy River, Hell's Kitchen for food, Rita's Cantina for food, Rincon Brewery, which is a phenomenal brewery as well, serving some phenomenal beer. A great place to go to in a very beautiful area of North San Diego. HarrisSoCal.com is the website if you're ready to book your next stay. All right, let's spend the rest of the show looking at some of these comments here. See what people got to say. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game coming up on Monday. All right, let's do this one real quick. Somebody asking why I don't play post-game interviews like before. I don't own that content. So we'll play it very safe. And, certain things, if you air certain things, I'll give you an example. I mean, I did a show yesterday and I Marcus Smart, was it the Marcus Smart one? I played a couple different clips yesterday, but if you play a certain amount of a clip from somewhere else, you'll get basically you can't monetize it. YouTube's put a copyright strike, whatever. I mean, it's not like anything happens to the channel or anything like that, but those are some of the reasons. There's back end reasons why I don't do it or I can't do it or it's not smart to do it. So that hopefully gives you a little bit of an idea. The key for the Lakers is their third quarter. They're 22-0 after leading in the third quarter. Was that the stat? Was it 22-0? Is it that high? I heard them saying it during the broadcast as well. It was crazy. We already saw what we look like against the Spurs, Lee. Old and slow, and we can't shoot, but at least it's changed with Kennard. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that Kennard is going to change everything come Tuesday against the Spurs. But if I can remind you something as well, they have a win against San Antonio with Wemby in the lineup. I think actually, if I'm right here, they had a game in LA early in the season. Wemby played and De'Aaron Fox did not, and the Lakers won that game. Now, San Antonio is not the same team as they were early in the season. I mean, you can easily make a case right now that San Antonio is the best team in the Western Conference, even with OKC being healthy. I mean, they've also kind of had the Thunder's number so far this season. So that's that's real deal over there. They are definitely playing some good ball. All right, let's see some more here. The only way Lakers win is if they want it bad enough. Healthy Spurs will wash us without Luka. Lakers can win with a good fight, though. We can't comfortably win against 500-plus teams. Can I tell you this? I don't think you're expecting to beat the San Antonio Spurs because Luka's not there. Of course, nobody is expecting that. All right. Can you still have 6-7 guys step up? Is there something they could take out of a game like that that is beneficial for down the road? In a weird way, I do think that the Lakers have put themselves in a position where when Luka doesn't play, other guys got an opportunity to step up. When Reeves wasn't playing, other guys had an opportunity to step up. So yeah, I think there are some advantages here when your star player doesn't play. Now, of course, you want him against the San Antonio Spurs, especially if that's the team playing the best ball right now in the league. Kind of scared of the Spurs and their guard rotation. I will tell you this. This is the worst part about the San Antonio Spurs to me. They're not supposed to be good right now. Like they're supposed to be good in a year, maybe in 2 years. That's the worst part about the San Antonio Spurs. They've progressed so quickly. So that's the problem with them. All right. Lakers obviously got the game, like I mentioned, coming up against game coming up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, I'm trying to read some of these comments while I'm doing it. So they got a game coming up on Monday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let me answer this one here real quick. Slee, is there a promo code coming for this? There is. And hopefully I get the details on that next week. We're actually emailing each other about that on Friday. So I'll get some more details on that. I'll keep you posted on that. That's in regards to Harris. Let me give everyone just a quick idea here. We got the Super Bowl tomorrow, which means we will have absolutely nothing from me tomorrow on the channel. Now, Sammy is going to put up a preview video. I don't know when he's going to do it. I mean, for all I know, Sammy's saying to himself, how the hell am I going to put a preview video up of the Lakers and the Thunder while the Super Bowl is going on? But he'll somehow find a way to do so. So everybody, I hope is going to enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow. Monday morning, I'll come back to my regular show. We'll do the show at 8 a.m. We'll do the show on Monday morning. So I'm looking forward, obviously, to being with you guys. And then Monday night, we got Lakers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Fun week next week. You got the Oklahoma City Thunder, you got the San Antonio Spurs, you got the Dallas Mavericks, and we're at the All-Star break. This season is just going by like that. Already 50 games in. What was today? 50, 51 games, whatever that number was. The season is flying, and there's been a lot of good topics. So I'm looking forward to, if you want to call it, the second half of the season for the Lakers as well. All right, my people, that's all I got for tonight. I really appreciate you guys joining the show. 105-99, the final score. Greatly appreciate everybody that's on this channel. Got a couple of supers here. Shout out to Chris. Thank you very much for throwing that super my way. Shout out to those who gifted out some memberships. Thank you to Harris, and thank you to Brad Walsh and the Walsh firm. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday night. Enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow. I got Seattle, but I think Patriots cover. Yeah, I think I got that right. I think it'll be a closer game than people think. We'll leave it there. Hope everybody enjoys their Sunday, the Super Bowl, and I will see you guys on Monday morning. Lakers over the Warriors, 105-99, 13 games over 500. Have a great rest of your night.